Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to Storytime with Phoenix Knight. I'm only half joking, by the way. So, as you may recall from our playthrough last night of the first scenario of the background campaign for Aeon's End Legacy of Gravehold, we actually left a little bit of narrative unfinished, because it was getting fairly late and I wanted to get the gameplay video out. So I decided, okay, let's get the gameplay out. We'll come back and do the narrative later. So later's come, and now we're going to go back to the narrative. So we picked up from passage 93. So let's just jump right into it. Alright, let's go. Kel stares off into the forest impatiently. Ezra might be in danger. You're right, Takrin agrees. Let's head south. Well, hold on, Ilya counters, holding up a hand. If we go straight south, we'll pass right by your city's southern outpost. We risk being seen, maybe even stopped. It's better if we avoid it. Takrin rests his hands on his hips. There's no problem with being seen. The people at the southern outpost know Ku and I. We can get by fine. But they don't know Kel and Ilya, Ku pipes up. Not to mention our recent exile. It's unlikely they would have already heard about your exile, Kel says, stepping to the side to stand next to Takrin, offering her support. Besides, it's the most direct route. Azer needs our help as soon as we can give it. Only hypothetically. Ilya folds her hands in front of her resolutely. I think it's safer to swing out to the east. We can visit the village of Fane while we go and make sure they're all right as well. If you want to go directly south, read section 79. If you want to travel around to the east, read section 38. If we're in trouble, I think we have to brave it and risk being seen. So let's go to section 79. Here's section 79. Kel steps forward. Fane is safer than Azer. It's well defended by the Thorn Shield. It's better to head straight to Azer, no matter the risk. Ilya shrugs and nods along. All right, then. I'll trust you. Just follow my lead this time, Takrin says. If the people at the southern outpost try to give us any trouble, I know how to handle them. The group continues along with Takrin, using the visible top of the southern outpost where it pokes out of the forest canopy to guide their path. Ever since it came under attack by Necroswarm, the people who live in Southpost have been hard at work repairing it, but the once imposing and defensive guard tower is still looking a little worse for wear. In a world like this, nothing can ever survive for long. Careful! Kel's hand closes around Takrin's wrist and tugs him backwards, and he immediately drops his gaze from the sky to focus on what's right ahead of him. A sylvopede, Ilya says quietly, pointing through the undergrowth to a flash of reflective silver skin that's barely visible. They're a very feral, dangerous animal. We should give it a wide berth. Hold on, that's Rip! Ku steps forward, ignoring Ilya's warnings, and pats her knees invitingly. The smooth, featureless head of Razra's constant companion pokes out of a bush and lets out a happy squeak. Rip turns and waggles his tail, a clear invitation to follow. Takrin and Ku hurry after Rip, and, after a moment's hesitation, Kel and Ilya follow as well. It isn't long before they emerge into a clearing and spot Razra herself. Rip rushes up to his master and headbutts her happily, waiting for pets and scratches. Razra blinks in confusion as she looks at the group of mages approaching. Thraxir? Ku says with a gasp, and the heap of metal beneath Razra shifts a bit and lets out a groan. Razra, what are you doing? Razra shrugs. I caught him wandering around here all suspicious and voidy, and I thought maybe he was the traitor mage. Zahana is the traitor mage. Ku steps forward and reaches out to try and help Thraxir up, displacing Razra from her seat. This is Thraxir. He's an old mage of Gravehold who has turned into a nameless and is regaining his sanity. Oh, I get it, Razra says, and then screws her face up tight in confusion. No, wait, I don't get it at all. Zahana is a traitor? Why? Because of stuff like this, Ku explains, as she gets Thraxir to his feet and helps him straighten out his helmet. Zahana's methods may be a little misguided, but all she's been trying to do is get Brahma to acknowledge that there's room for a middle ground between our world and the void. Ku touches the black scales on her own face gingerly. It's not so black and white as tradition would have us believe. Plus, there's another one of Brahma's malcontents out there opening void portals and putting everyone in danger, Kel adds. She drove Zahana to the brink, and this new mage is even worse. Your precious traditions are unsustainable, but Brahma won't listen to us. Huh, Razra crosses her arms. That all does sound pretty bad. I came back from the void, Thraxir says, his voice slow and halting. I came back to tell you. There are portals opening everywhere. Zaxos went to Azure. Zaxos is working with you? Razra's eyes widen. He's not evil. He just wants to understand the void so we can defend better against it, Ku answers. It's half our world. We ought to understand it. I'm all for connecting with another half, even when it seems scary. Razra scratches the side of Rip's neck as he rubs his head up and down her side, especially when it helps us kick butt. What do you need me to do? Open envelope 8. Add both of the mages there to your Azure barracks. Open deck TR. Add them to your Azure brackets. Find sticker sheet 4, section 2. Add stickers E and F to your rulebook and read them. When you're ready to begin the next game, go to section 6. Okay, so I'm going to do everything that it said to do there. And I believe section 6 is going to set the scene for the next scene. Yep. Alright, so I'm going to make a note of that. Section 6. I'll go through everything that the rulebook, that the narrative book had us do. Then we're going to talk a little bit about this Legacy of Gravehold campaign. So everything's been handled in terms of the stickering and adding the Magi to the barracks and all of that good stuff. What I wanted to talk about at this point of the video was kind of my thoughts coming out of that first scenario. So it turns out I flubbed the first scenario. I flubbed the first scenario enough to notice, but it didn't sound like it was enough to cause problems. I got a comment on the video on the Geek how I had screwed up the first scenario slightly, but it didn't sound like it sounded like A, it wasn't a serious mishap, and B, a lot of other people were running into it. So it seemed like the card was just badly worded or something. I did have problems with it, at least in terms of how the first unnamed worked. I thought I caught it, but apparently I didn't. Anyway, so you probably noticed my thoughts coming out of that first scenario, but I was a little bit sour on that just because of how difficult it seemed like it was. I get the feeling it's setting up for something later, and sometimes the first scenarios are designed to be unwinnable in these campaigns. It's still something I'm kind of getting used to a little bit, so it'll probably be a little while. I want to give it a little bit of thought on what I want to do in terms of getting this game back to the channel. I had it scheduled to come back to it next month, but I think next month we're probably going to go back to regular Aeon's End. So just have another one-off exhibition. I've also got a copy of Aeon's End Legacy that I want to make sure is ready to hit the channel, because I may run through that instead. At a glance at what I'm seeing here, I'm not sure I'm liking what I see with the Magi here, where it looks like you're going to customize these mages. But I think I like the ability of being able to fully customize the mage and build for whatever you're doing in the campaign, rather than already being constrained by the character. But I think that'll do it for this video, at least. We're also on a steady march to 400 videos on the channel. I'm expecting to hit that either late this month or early next month, so stay tuned for that. As for what's scheduled on the channel, it'll probably be Saturday, where we'll continue Mystical Munchies Redo Month, with the side, Polystarch Portion Bread. Then Sunday we're going to continue the fall campaign in Arkham Horror the card game with the next scenario, Return to the Last King. Then Wednesday next week, we're going to Carcosa for the Greatest Boxer Tournament in Title Bout 2. We'll have our first quarterfinal matchup, and we'll be adding the cornermen to the tournament this month. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care everyone.